YTBC, what's the deal? So I've been breaking down some Alexander Povetkin footage and tape, just going over some old fights, man. And one thing I noticed about Povetkin and his team is, after the Olympics, there was a lot, they had a lot of confidence in Alexander Povetkin. You can tell by his, just his opponents, how him being a fighter that only had, 13, 14 fights, and they were putting him in there with guys with a lot of experience, former title holders, former title contenders, guys like Larry Donald, Chris Bird. Then he got thrown in there with Eddie Chambers when Chambers was 30-0. So they started to, test Povetkin really early, man. And that's one thing you got to give him credit for is he's not a guy that, the last 2 or 3 years, he's just turning up, good opponents. I mean, they've been throwing him in there with quality opponents pretty much since they turned him pro, man. So, one thing I noticed about Povetkin also is, over the years, he's got to work with some very good trainers. And some of the trainers have Mike Tyson connections. That's one thing I noticed about Povetkin when he worked with Stacy McKinley. I know McKinley was in his corner when he fought Vladimir. And then we know that, him working with Teddy Atlas. And those are two guys that got to work with Mike Tyson, so. And I remember during the time when Povetkin, the reason I know Povetkin and Atlas, they kind of, they went their separate ways. I know Atlas did not want Povetkin to fight Klitschko. I forgot what year it was, but he didn't think Povetkin was ready for Klitschko. And Team Povetkin did. And they wanted to rush him, and they wanted him to, get a fight with Vladimir. And to tell you the truth, though, whether he would have took the fight when Team Povetkin wanted him to, and Atlas was saying that he's not ready, or when he took the fight when he did, I just don't think he beats Vladimir Klitschko. I just think that style gives him problems. That, the clinching that Vladimir was able to get away with in those fights. But before the clinches, he would land jabs and right hands, and he'll just clinch, and he was putting a vice grip on Povetkin. He even threw him down a few times because he was clinching him so tight, man. He just did not want it to have anything to do with the inside fight game. And, Povetkin was susceptible to being held, man. I thought he should let his hands go. And I think he has the ability to let his hands go. Just Vladimir was so strong in the clinch. It's almost like it takes a guy that's as big or even bigger than Vladimir to break loose of his clinch. And Tyson Fury was able to do that, man. I think his height and just how big he is, just a bigger guy naturally than Vladimir, that helped him out a lot. Where a guy like Povetkin, who's, much smaller than Vladimir, just couldn't get out his clinch. But one thing about Deontay Wilder that I noticed is he's not the type of fighter that's going to seem like he's going to want to clinch. I really don't see Deontay Wilder being a clinch guy. If anything, he'll go on his back foot and just keep his jab out there and try to keep you away versus one punch grab. That's just not his style. So Povetkin will have more opportunities to land in this fight, because sometimes we look at Vladimir and Deontay Wilder, we look at their height and their weight, and we think they're similar in those regards, but mostly just height, because I know Vladimir outweighs Wilder by about 20 pounds on fight nights. But I think that I don't know, man. I just think that Povetkin's going to have more opportunities to throw his punches if Deontay Wilder doesn't elect to hold on the inside. But like I said, Wilder's not really a inside fighter type of guy that I've seen. He just wants to, either fight you in your back foot, on his back foot, or when he does come forward, he likes to keep his distance, but he's coming forward, but he wants to keep you at the end of that long right hand and those left hooks. He does keep his chin up in the air, but like I've said, I guess it's one of those situations where, when we watch it on TV, it looks probably a little easier than it does when the guys get in the ring with them. Because for guys, like Molina and Duhaupas and Spilka has some very decent moments against Wilder, in my opinion. I actually had Spilka winning that fight going into the round. He got knocked out. I had him up by 1 point. I know a few guys I spoke to had Deontay Wilder, but it was, pretty good contested, fight up until the point of the knockout. But I just think that Povetkin is going to have his opportunities to punch Deontay Wilder, to get on the inside, and Wilder doesn't do some of the things Klitschko was able to do to keep Povetkin at bay. Huck, would throw combinations and let his hands go, so I think Wilder, is going to use his jab, but just some of the things I think Povetkin can do is get on the inside and take advantage of Deontay Wilder not being the type of guy that's going to hold you for dear life and just let your punches go. So that's one of the keys, I think, for Povetkin is work Deontay Wilder on the inside, man. Just work him on the inside and possibly let Deontay Wilder walk himself into something, by moving your head, parrying shots, turning. But that's really not Povetkin's game. He likes to come forward with that high guard, and he'll bob and weave his head. And he'll like to dart in with shots sometimes. He'll jab you, and he'll dart in and try to land a hook or uppercut or a power shot. But those are some of the things I think Povetkin can do. YTBC. I'm out.